Well, we're going to start there with that Michigan-Iowa. Michigan
Oh,
favored by 10.5, 42, because all we do is just cash Iowa tickets on this show.
man, oh,
We
man.
we said Iowa would cover.
Oh.
We said over that ridiculously low total. We said under Rutgers team total. In fact, we took that down a little bit there on Saturday night with a little live play. I sat there and watched that entire game. That bad
You
offensive
did?
game.
I was just going to
Oh, every play. Saw every play of it. Every
You
play.
like the punishment. Okay. I did not watch, full disclosure, any of that game. There was a lot of other games going on. You were keeping me abreast of that on Saturday via text. Because West Virginia playing Thursday and winning pretty easily was a
Very easily.
nice, yeah,
Dominated.
very easily. And I believe you heard that as well
Yeah.
on the show we did last week. And again, thank you people for watching the show, subscribing to the YouTube channel, Cash Considerations Podcast. It's all there. You also can listen audio only if you like to do that. I mean, you got to watch it just to see the two of us go back and forth, the newbie bouncing us back and forth there. But it's available wherever you find podcasts as well. 8 in the box. Iowa. Be our home dog. Simple.
Yeah, I mean, they're good in this role. They've covered 7 of 8 at home as a dog of 5 or more. I mean, this is the perfect role for them at Kinnick. It'll be bonkers. Those Iowa fans will be against Michigan. Here's my question, though. Can they score enough? Do I have to count on 2 defensive touchdowns again, like you got against Rutgers? I mean, I'm being serious here. Can they score and can they get to 17? Can they get to 14?
It's
And I'm not even trying to be funny. There's so many questions about this Iowa offense. I want to take Iowa as a double-digit home dog. I mean, that's probably the play, but I'm really concerned about how they get points here.
the line right now. And again, this is kind of a look ahead show. All right. It runs all week on all the channels and stuff. People find us on Thursday, Friday with new information. What we have right now to go before the sun comes up out west here in Vegas and the guys walk in and adjust the totals, because this apparently is a thing on Tuesdays. These college totals are being adjusted before even we record or after we record the show. It's 42, Bihal. You said you were watching a game. The total last week against Rutgers on the road went down as low as 34. There were books that got down to 34 on a college football game. It went over because of not 1, but 2 defensive touchdowns. They're not getting 2 defensive touchdowns against Michigan. I don't think so. Is this a bad look ahead spot for Michigan, though, with Penn State on the horizon?
I don't know. I mean, they know how difficult it is to play in Iowa. They just got dinged there a couple years ago.
Right.
I'm just more concerned about. I don't know what we have in Michigan. I think Michigan's pretty good, but the schedules: Colorado State, Hawaii, and UConn, and then struggled against Maryland, who Maryland's fine. Their offense is fine. But is this the same Michigan team we saw last year? Blake Corum has been awesome, ran for 234 last week against Maryland, has 7 rushing touchdowns the last 2 weeks. But I just think it's going to be tough sledding against that Iowa defense up front here. I think I'm inclined to take Iowa again until I see differently. Oh, that's going to hurt.
It's so funny when you look at the numbers. It's Michigan's 4-0, 2-2 against the spread. And Iowa's 3-1, but also 2-2 against the spread. Average points for 50 for Michigan. Average points for Iowa 17. The numbers, and again, we can make the numbers do and say whatever we want to before we make plays. I mean, again, it's just one of those math problems, how it's dog and under. Is it favorite and over? I think Michigan can win an ugly game too.
Michigan just drilled Iowa last year. It's 42-3. They ran for 6 yards of carry. So I say it's going to be tough sledding, and maybe Michigan comes out and runs. Here's where I'm gonna land, because you could talk me into either one of these sides. I don't have a strong opinion. Here's where I'm gonna land. Early in the season, it has been good to us to look at the schedule, that strength of schedule. We've talked about this the last 3 weeks. I don't think enough weight is given to who you've played early. Now, I'm not sure Iowa's played a juggernaut of a schedule either, but Colorado State, Hawaii, and UConn is about as bad as it gets for Michigan. Those are 3 of the worst teams in America right there. And I think Michigan's pretty good. So if they come out and win by 12, 14, I won't be stunned. but I think I've got to go Iowa in this until somebody shows me differently.
That sounded like the dog. That
I'm going to take the dog
I
now. I'll
hear
probably
what
take
you're
Iowa again.
saying.
I haven't played it. I'm going to keep, like you said,
Okay.
early in the week. My first instinct, given all of that, Michigan's first
Right.
road trip of the year into a tough environment. I thought Kinnick will be on its ear. Give me Iowa early until I get more information later in the week,
This is a
especially if it stays double digits.
noon Eastern, 9 a.m. kickoff.
Yeah,
Again,
11 a.m. local in Iowa, so
Right.
it's an early start for Iowa, which helps Michigan, quite frankly.
I was just going to
Yeah.
ask you. Okay, so I always like to, just again, we're looking at the lines, we're looking at a couple points here, and then I always like to look at the start time. Does that help Michigan?
Yeah, I'd rather play Iowa at 11 a.m. local time than I would at night. Iowa at night has been really tough for favorites.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Just kind of giving you a quick thought on the number. I think the initial play, like one of the places that opens the lines is Circa here in Vegas, and I think the line's going to go up, and I think the total came down from the opener, and I think that's the way we're going to see this line move too. So just keep that in mind. That I think the initial play, at least today, will look like it'll go to 11 before it'll go to 10. 10 will be the bottom, and I think it's going to go down. I think we're going to see 41 before we see 43.
Well, I don't know how it can't. Iowa, number 1 in the country in scoring defense and 120 in scoring offense.
Oh, it's that
number 1 in deep. They're almost top in one, bottom in the other. I mean, jeez.
Is this not? We've established. I mean, each team's played like 4 games. Do those things start to weigh more into your handicap? The rankings and stuff, right? Like now you have a body of work, right? They mean a little bit more.
No doubt.
Okay.
The numbers and the stats start to mean more as we get into this, as does strength of schedule. Strength of schedule to me matters early and then starts to wane as you get later because it'll balance out a little bit more. But early, that strength of schedule, I think, is something you have to look at. That was part of our handicap for West Virginia and Virginia Tech. Tech just hadn't played anybody. I thought West Virginia had been more tested. That was one where it came to fruition.
Right. All right.